Welcome to Whispered Tales. Today's story is about overcoming laziness and building focus while improving your English fluency. Jake Thompson, a 24-year-old recent college graduate from Denver, loved comfort and procrastination more than he admitted. His English was decent, but he often avoided practicing because he felt lazy or distracted. Days slipped by, and he felt stuck in a cycle of unproductivity and frustration. One morning, Jake's friend Maya visited him. She was disciplined, fluent in English, and always full of energy. Seeing Jake's messy room and untouched journal, she asked, "Jake, don't you want to improve yourself? Stop letting laziness control your days." Her words stung. Jake realized she was right. Laziness had held him back from learning English, practicing skills, and pursuing opportunities. That evening, Jake reflected in his notebook. Laziness is the enemy of progress. Focus and discipline are tools that successful people use every day. If I want to speak English fluently and grow in life, I need to take action now. Determined to change, Jake decided to start small. Instead of tackling everything at once, he focused on 15 minutes of English reading, writing, and speaking practice every day. He realized that focus was more important than long hours, quality over quantity. That night, Jake read an inspiring quote. "Discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most." For the first time, he felt motivated, not because of guilt, but because he had clarity about what he truly wanted: focus, productivity, and fluent English. The next morning, Jake woke up determined to put his plan into action. He realized that overcoming laziness required structure and routine, not just motivation. He created a simple daily schedule. 7 a.m. Wake up and do a 10-minute stretching or exercise routine to energize himself. 7:30 a.m. English reading and vocabulary practice. 8 a.m. Journaling thoughts in English. 8:15 a.m. Speaking practice, reading aloud from a short story or article. He called this his Focus First Hour. At first, it was challenging. His mind wandered, distractions popped up, and the temptation to check social media was strong. But he reminded himself that focus was like a muscle. The more he trained it, the stronger it became. During the second week, Jake noticed a small but meaningful change. He could complete his exercises without feeling mentally exhausted. His English sentences became clearer, his vocabulary grew, and he felt a sense of accomplishment each morning. One evening, his friend Maya asked, "Jake, you seem different, more focused. How did you manage this?" Jake smiled. "I started small, created a routine, and stopped giving in to laziness. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency." He reflected in his notebook that night. Focus is built through routine. Laziness loses power when I take small, deliberate steps each day. Progress matters more than speed. Jake realized that the key to fluent English and personal growth was consistent, focused effort, not bursts of last-minute motivation. By dedicating even a short amount of time daily, he was forming habits that would compound into meaningful results. A week into his routine, Jake faced a new challenge: distractions. Notifications from his phone, tempting video games, and endless social media scrolling constantly pulled him away from his English practice and focus sessions. Jake realized that laziness wasn't just a lack of effort, it was often fueled by distractions. To combat this, he implemented a few simple strategies. Phone-free time. He placed his phone in another room during his Focus First Hour. Clear workspace. He tidied his desk, leaving only the notebook, pen, and English materials. Time blocks. He used a timer for 15 to 20-minute intervals, fully dedicating each block to practice without interruption. At first, his mind resisted. He felt restless and bored. But he reminded himself, discomfort is the price of growth. Focus is the bridge between laziness and achievement. Reduce noise. During one practice session, Jake noticed significant improvement. He read an article in English aloud without hesitation, noting new words and expressions. Then, he summarized it in his notebook, practicing both writing and speaking. He felt a surge of confidence, the result of focused effort, not fleeting motivation. Later, he shared his strategy with Maya. Removing distractions and scheduling focused time made all the difference. It's like my brain finally knows when to work and when to rest. That night, he wrote in his journal, "Laziness thrives on distraction. Focus grows when we eliminate noise and dedicate time to purposeful action. Fluent English and personal growth come from deliberate attention." Jake understood that mastering focus was not a one-time achievement, it was a daily practice, and each small victory built momentum. As the weeks passed, Jake realized that small wins were the key to staying motivated. Overcoming laziness wasn't about huge leaps, it was about accumulating tiny, consistent victories every day. He began setting mini goals for his English practice. Learn 5 new words per day and use them in sentences. Speak aloud for 10 minutes without pausing excessively. Write 1 paragraph summarizing his day in English. Each completed goal gave him a sense of accomplishment. Even on days when he felt tired or unmotivated, achieving just one small task made a difference. Slowly, his laziness began to fade, replaced by discipline and confidence. One morning, Jake faced a particularly tempting scenario. His favorite TV series had released a new season. He felt the pull to binge watch instead of practicing English. But he reminded himself of a principle he had learned. Delayed gratification is the secret to focus and success. He completed his English routine first, writing a short reflection on productivity and fluency. Only after finishing did he allow himself to watch an episode. The satisfaction was much greater than any instant pleasure from skipping practice. Later, Jake noticed his English was improving faster than before. Words came to him more naturally. His writing became clearer, and he could express thoughts fluently without overthinking. He realized, focus compounds like interest in a bank account. The more consistent you are, the greater the reward. That night, he wrote in his journal, "Small wins create momentum. Laziness loses power when I celebrate progress and stay consistent. Fluent English grows alongside focus and daily effort." Jake finally understood a fundamental truth. Success and fluency were not about perfection. They were about steady, purposeful action, one small step at a time. A few weeks into his routine, Jake noticed that sometimes laziness returned, especially on stressful or exhausting days. He realized that motivation alone wasn't enough. He needed accountability to stay on track. He reached out to his friend Maya and proposed a simple plan. They would check in with each other daily, sharing what they accomplished and setting goals for the next day. By doing this, neither of them wanted to fall behind or make excuses. At first, it felt strange. Jake hesitated to report small achievements, fearing they seemed insignificant. But Maya encouraged him. Every step counts. Don't underestimate the power of small actions. They build focus and discipline over time. Jake started sending brief messages each evening. Today, I learned 5 new English words and wrote a paragraph using them. I practiced speaking aloud for 15 minutes, focusing on clarity. I completed my focus first hour without checking my phone. Each message reinforced his commitment. Knowing someone else was observing his progress gave him extra motivation to push past laziness. Over time, the habit became easier, and he started enjoying the process itself. During one weekend, Jake faced a challenge. He felt tired and unmotivated to follow his routine. He almost skipped it, but remembered his check-in with Maya. He completed his English exercises, then shared his progress. The simple act of accountability made him feel accomplished and energized. That night, he reflected in his journal. Accountability strengthens focus. Laziness fades when others support and observe progress. Daily effort, even when small, compounds into real growth and fluency. Jake realized that success and language learning were not solitary journeys. By building accountability, he created an environment where focus, discipline, and English fluency could thrive together. As Jake continued his journey, he noticed an important pattern. Relying on motivation alone was unreliable. Some days, he felt energetic and eager. Other days, he felt tired, distracted, or lazy. He realized that motivation fluctuates, but mindset is constant. Jake began practicing a mindset shift. Instead of waiting to feel motivated, he committed to action first, feelings later. He adopted the mantra, "Do it now, and the energy will follow." One morning, after a late night at work, Jake felt exhausted. His first instinct was to skip his focus first hour. But he remembered his mantra. He got out of bed, brewed coffee, and sat down with his notebook. He read a short English article, practiced speaking aloud, and wrote a paragraph summarizing it. By the end of 20 minutes, he felt energized, focused, and proud. The act of starting had sparked momentum, proving that mindset overpowered fleeting motivation. Jake also incorporated positive self-talk into his routine. "I can do this even if I don't feel like it." Small, consistent steps beat temporary excuses. Focus is a choice, not a feeling. Over time, this mindset transformed his approach to laziness. Tasks that once felt overwhelming became manageable and even enjoyable because he approached them with intentionality and focus. That evening, he reflected in his journal. "Motivation is temporary, but mindset is permanent. Laziness loses its grip when I commit to action first. Focus, discipline, and English fluency grow with each deliberate step." Jake realized that overcoming laziness wasn't about energy or inspiration. It was about choosing to act consistently, cultivating a disciplined mindset, and building habits that reinforce focus and growth. As Jake's routine solidified, he noticed another enemy lurking in his daily life: procrastination. Even with focus and discipline, he sometimes delayed tasks, convincing himself they could wait until later. One afternoon, he faced a tough assignment, writing a detailed English essay for an online course. His first instinct was to postpone it, telling himself he'd do it after lunch, after a walk, or after checking his messages. But he remembered a key lesson. Successful people tackle difficult tasks immediately, not later. Jake broke the task into smaller, manageable steps. Draft the introduction. Write one paragraph at a time. Review and revise at the end. He set a timer for 25-minute intervals and focused on one step at a time. Surprisingly, he finished the essay faster than he expected. The feeling of accomplishment was powerful. It proved that action always beats delay. Later, he shared his strategy with Maya. Breaking tasks into smaller steps and tackling them immediately makes everything easier. Procrastination disappears when I start now, rather than waiting for the perfect moment. That night, he reflected in his journal. Procrastination feeds laziness, but action destroys it. Focus grows when I tackle tasks step by step. Fluent English and productivity come from doing, not delaying. Jake realized that every time he overcame procrastination, he not only improved his English, but also strengthened his confidence and self-discipline. The lesson was clear. Start now, adjust as you go, and celebrate progress, no matter how small. Jake soon realized that his surroundings played a huge role in either encouraging laziness or fostering focus. One evening, after a long day of unproductive scrolling and distractions, he reflected on his workspace and habits. His room was cluttered, his desk piled with random items, and notifications constantly pinged from his phone and laptop. Jake understood that even the most disciplined person can struggle in a chaotic environment. Determined to change, he redesigned his study space. A clean desk with only his notebook, pen, and English materials. A comfortable chair and good lighting for reading and writing. A small plant for a refreshing touch. His phone placed out of reach during focus sessions. He also created a focus zone in his home, a space dedicated to productivity. Every time he sat there, it signaled his brain to concentrate. The results were immediate. Jake found it easier to practice English without distractions. He could read, write, and speak with clarity, fully immersed in the task. Even 20 minutes of focused work felt more productive than an hour of scattered effort. One afternoon, Maya visited and commented, "Wow, Jake, your study space feels inspiring. It's no wonder you've been improving so fast." Jake smiled and replied, "Environment shapes habits. By controlling what surrounds me, I control my focus and reduce laziness." That night, he wrote in his journal, "Focus is not just internal, it's influenced by environment. A clean, distraction-free space strengthens discipline, productivity, and English fluency." Jake realized that success and learning are easier when your surroundings support your goals. Laziness loses its power when your environment encourages focus and consistent action. As Jake continued building his focus, he discovered another powerful tool: visualization. He realized that seeing the end result in his mind could motivate him to push past laziness and maintain consistent effort. One morning, Jake sat quietly and imagined his future self, fluent in English, confident in conversations, writing essays effortlessly, and presenting ideas clearly in meetings. He pictured himself smiling as he read English books without hesitation and understood every word. The vision was vivid, exciting, and inspiring. Jake decided to use this technique daily. Before starting his focus first hour, He would close his eyes for a few minutes and visualize completing his English exercises effortlessly, speaking confidently with friends or colleagues, gaining respect and recognition for his consistent effort. The effect was noticeable. Visualization created mental motivation without relying on fleeting emotions. Even on days when laziness crept in, the mental image of his future self encouraged him to act. During one study session, Jake caught himself feeling lazy and tempted to skip practice. He paused, visualized speaking fluidly to an audience, and immediately felt energized. He opened his notebook and practiced for 20 focused minutes, more productive than he had been all week. That evening, he reflected in his journal. Visualization connects effort with outcome. Seeing the results in my mind strengthens focus, reduces laziness, and improves English fluency. I act now because I see who I can become. Jake realized that combining focus, habit, and visualization was turning daily practice into a powerful, self-reinforcing cycle. Each small action brought him closer to fluency and discipline, proving that the battle against laziness was won in the mind first. After several weeks of disciplined effort, Jake began to notice tangible results. His English fluency improved. He could speak more confidently, write more clearly, and understand complex articles without hesitation. Most importantly, his laziness had significantly decreased. Jake realized an important lesson. Celebrating small achievements reinforces focus and motivation. He decided to mark every milestone, no matter how minor, to remind himself that consistent effort pays off. For example, finishing a paragraph in English without stopping to check the dictionary. Successfully using 5 new words in a conversation. Completing a full week of focus first hour without skipping. Each accomplishment gave Jake a sense of pride and reinforced the habit loop. Action, results, motivation, more action. One evening, Maya stopped by and asked Jake about his progress. "Jake, you seem unstoppable lately. What's changed?" Jake smiled. "I've learned to celebrate progress, focus on small wins, and stick to a routine. It's amazing how much small, consistent actions add up." That night, Jake wrote in his journal, "Celebrating progress fuels persistence. Laziness fades when I recognize effort and growth. Focus and fluency improve when I track achievements and honor small wins."
He realized that discipline wasn't about perfection. It was about acknowledging effort, building momentum, and enjoying the journey. The combination of focus, accountability, visualization, and celebration created a powerful system to overcome laziness and achieve success. As Jake's focus and discipline grew, he realized that physical health directly affected his ability to overcome laziness. On days he skipped exercise, ate poorly, or slept late, his mind felt sluggish and unfocused. On days he prioritized his health, his energy and motivation soared. Jake decided to create a simple morning routine to boost both his body and mind. 10 minutes of light stretching or yoga, a short walk outdoors for fresh air, a healthy breakfast with protein and fruits, 5 minutes of deep breathing to clear his mind. He noticed that on days he followed this routine, he completed his focus first hour effortlessly and even had energy for additional English practice later. His concentration improved, vocabulary retention increased, and speaking fluency became smoother. Jake also realized that mental energy and physical energy were linked. Procrastination often disguised itself as laziness, but in reality, his brain simply lacked fuel or focus. By taking care of his body, he was indirectly strengthening his mind. One morning, Maya called him. "Jake, you sound energetic today. What's your secret?" Jake replied, "Exercise, proper sleep, and healthy meals. I realized that laziness often comes from fatigue, not lack of willpower." That night, Jake reflected in his journal. Energy fuels focus. Laziness diminishes when the body and mind are cared for. Discipline and English fluency thrive when health and productivity are aligned. Jake understood that true focus wasn't just mental, it was holistic, combining healthy habits, structured routines, and deliberate action to consistently beat laziness and build fluency. Months of effort had transformed Jake. The once lazy and distracted young man now woke up with energy, followed his routines consistently, and approached English practice with confidence and excitement. His speaking was fluent, his writing precise, and his vocabulary richer than ever.
Jake realized that overcoming laziness wasn't a one-time achievement. It was a continuous process. Through small steps, structured routines, accountability, visualization, celebrating progress, and maintaining health, he had built a system that supported focus, discipline, and personal growth. He reflected on the journey and noted in his journal, "Laziness loses its power when action, focus, and consistency dominate." Fluent English grows alongside discipline, and each small victory compounds into mastery. Success is not magic, it's daily effort turned into habit. Jake now shared his lessons with friends and family, helping them implement similar routines. He understood that success and fluency were not about talent or luck, but about creating the right habits and environment. Thank you for watching Wisped Tales. We hope you enjoyed Jake's journey of overcoming laziness and building focus while improving English fluency. Remember, small, consistent steps, discipline, and a positive mindset are the keys to success and growth.